Welcome to this tour, exterior and interior of the Audi e-tron Sportback, the electric SUV, even a little bit more spiced up. Here, join our Autogefühl tour from LA. Let's go! Audi e-tron and the new e-tron Sportback, they are of course same platform and also similar here in the very front with this front grille, which is from the form pretty known from the other Audi models, but to have this electric styling, the front grille looks a little bit more shut off, so to say, and it's also a little bit more matte gray, so not such a dark contrast. Still a quite sporty lower end right there, and this so-called plasma blue is exclusive color to the e-tron Sportback. And interesting is that you also start with normal LED lights, then optional you can get the LED matrix, and the newest thing is here, those ones here, LED with digital matrix light. So what's that? There are actually some micro mirrors inside the lights, which then can lead the LEDs even more exactly that don't blind anyone else, but also that you can basically mark a lane where you are driving, that only your lane is actually illuminated very well, and you could think about even further use, for example, to mark something on the street for the driver and so on. So a very interesting new technology piece. 4 meters 90 or 193 inches. That's the same length than the normal Audi e-tron. The main difference, of course, is the rear silhouette, where we have this falling roofline and this coupe style. So what do you think? Do you prefer this one here or the Audi e-tron with the more upright shape? Wheels start with 19-inch. In the S-line, the sporty S-line, comes with 20-inch, and those ones are the optional 22-inch wheels, the biggest ones that are available and pretty massive, definitely. And what we can see also is that those wheel arches, they come either in black, like here, painted black, or in gray, or in vehicle color. So those three options we have, depending on what you prefer. Those are also the optional camera mirrors. You can also go with base ones, and that they are better in aerodynamic reasons, for example. So reduce a little bit of wind resistance. That might also bring down the energy consumption. Just a little bit, at least on paper. Then you have those screens on the inside, but again you can also go with the classic stuff if you also want to save some money on that. And here again, this special shape that the roofline is falling, so every SUV nowadays gets their SUV coupe version, also then here for the e-tron. The air suspension, by the way, is standard. It is set on a little bit sportier tone here for the Sportback, so really looking forward how that one plays out with driving. And it also has something to do with how the car looks like at the moment. If it's rather higher or lower, that also indeed changes the whole look of the car. And on those motor shows, they're not all the time rather put up. Sometimes they go a little bit down and so on. So this really has a big influence as well. The rear, of course, with this very flat window line, then additional spoiler, and then the light strip goes all the way over the vehicle, and again real horizontal stress all over the place. 55 quattro is, let's say, the power level. There's also the 50 quattro available, both quattro because you have two electric motors, one front axle, one rear axle. Still, this car has a rear wheel focus actually, so this also makes it a little bit sportier. So most of the power is done by the rear motor then. And both, so the weaker and the stronger versions, both then with the all-wheel drive without any mechanical link. But that's actually a very interesting all-wheel drive system. We know it also from other electric vehicles, and it works pretty flawlessly. We've shown that, for example, when we were driving the e-tron prototype in the desert of Namibia. That was pretty impressive. You should also check out that review at some stage. So charging, actually you can get one on both sides, but here just on the one side is possible then with the additional DC charger, and the charging power is standard 11 kilowatt AC or optional 22 kilowatt AC, or then with the DC maximum is 150 kilowatt with the direct current. Then it also has a heat pump, this car, by the way, to make it more efficient. And the battery capacity is either 71 kilowatt hours with the 50 quattro or 95 kilowatt hours with the 55 quattro. And more figures, the 50 quattro, that one then has 310 horsepower and 6.8 seconds acceleration figure to 100 kilometers or 62 miles an hour, and the range of 350 kilometers or 220 miles officially. And then there's the 55 quattro, stronger, 360 horsepower and 6.6 seconds, so 0.2 seconds faster, or with a peak power for 8 seconds is then 408 horsepower and 5.7 seconds in the acceleration figure because it has this boost function. And then on the stronger one, 450 kilometers of range or 280 miles, but that, that again, official figures, it will be a little bit lower for real. So we have a frunk right here, which is actually eating up about 60 liters. This is just here for the motor show. Shouldn't be in there, in your normal car. This just keeps power, but you can easily store your charging cables here to have a clean solution. And the real trunk, well, you do lose some height right here in comparison to the real e-tron. This one then 555 liters with some more storage underneath. Here we go. That's actually quite decent, the storage you have underneath there. And then this top cover you could also remove. Just, pull it and there we go. And, you can still use this trunk very well. We can also flip the seats to show you that. Because then you have actually really also decent length to go through with the top tether behind here. And this one here would be a 2/3, 1/3 split. Two interesting things we can already show you with this door. First of all, the normal door closing sound, which is very solid. And if you want to make it a little bit more gentle, then you also have, of course, a coast-worthy option, a soft close function. Magic. Then inside of the doors, the top part is also from Soft Touch. Then a nice bright Alcantara insert here. That's cool. And also fitting to the exterior color, a blue interior color. This again then here the image of the back mirror if you have those cameras. And normal one would also be possible, just to show that it's live. Here, there it is. Yeah, man. Here we go. Hey guys. So, and then the rest of the interior, this e-tron steering wheel we already know from the normal e-tron. The seats, there are different forms available. So there is a normal seat, there is a sport seat with more bolsters, stronger bolsters. Then there is an S-Sport seat with integrated head restraint, and this one is the multi-contour seat, so the highest trim seat, so to say. And they still have an animal skin focus like we see here, although it's supposed to be a sustainable electric vehicle, which makes no sense. At least in Europe, you can also get a base fabric seat. That's actually good then. And when you go for the sport seats, also Alcantara in the middle available, for example, as choice. Then electric steering wheel control also comes towards you and in again. Electric seat control here as well, and it's a good and upright seating position, pretty comfortable. It doesn't feel too different if you think about also like an Audi Q8. Maybe a little bit lower, same also for the normal e-tron, and here also you have enough space. One means 86 or 6'1", and still a lot of headroom left, although there's the panoramic roof inbuilt here. So in the front there's not a big difference. Here soft touch also on top of the dashboard, and it's not super futuristic, but quite modern, with this screen layout, 12.3-inch digital instruments, and 12.1-inch screen in the top part, and the lower than 8.6-inch, I think it was, for the lower part, for the climate unit and so on. Interior overview, and this wide area, this is quite cool with the matte aluminum insert right there, e-tron lettering, and here we go with the screen, all done via touch. So we got the big screen up there and the smaller one in the lower part. And sometimes they also interact. For example, when you are in the in the GPS mode and then want to type in an address, then the lower screen also changes, that you can type the letters, for example, or also write something, you know, like Los Angeles or whatever, or whatever I typed in there now. Yeah, you get the picture. Soon also a little bit more details to that. And again, the steering wheel with big holes here. Right side for the volume, left side then to control the digital instrument there. For example, you also have a map view and can also change a lot. Soon also more details to that. In the lower end, it's interesting. You have a camera button, for example, for the camera system, and then this would be the driving selector. Put it backwards to drive, forward to for reverse. And then a very open middle console here. This is a special design element, like a flying design element, but I'm still not a fan of that since I've seen it the first time with the e-tron and with adaptive cup holders as well. So first thing I do, deactivate this haptic input so I can now properly click like I do also with the smartphone, for example. Audi Drive Select is always interesting. The different driving modes will also raise or lower the air suspension, for example, then the GPS with a good view here on the convention center and the stable center as well, downtown LA, guys. So it's always impressive to look at it, definitely. Everything is quite straightforward, so easy to use this system. Is it maybe distracting when you use it while driving? Yeah, you can say so because you don't have a like external knob or something. But then again, the menu structure is quite well done. And CarPlay integration looks like that. Android Auto is also available. I'm doing that, you know, with the cable. And it's actually from the music system, actually quite cool from the surround sound as well. So for music lovers and different options they are available, of course, as well. Yeah. You know, Hollywood Bowl, quite close from here, like, you know, 20-minute ride or something. Pretty impressive venue, definitely. So, and then you can go back to the Audi menu right here, and I'm just back at the main menu. And what's now also available for all the Audi infotainment systems now, if you have the latest software upgraded and if your car is capable for that, here the wireless Apple CarPlay, so you don't need the cable then anymore. So in the lower area, already shown that to you that it switches when you hit the GPS, but usually it looks like this. Here then you control the climate right there, like with swiping or with, you know, clicking here on plus and minus, or for example also use the voice input. Set temperature to 24 degrees. There we are. 24 degrees Celsius. So that's one way you can use the voice input, and for example also, you know, for the GPS. Then those digital instruments right here, for example with the GPS view, so you can have that in your line of sight, but you can also change it like that, small GPS, and then, you know, driving information focused. And here, by the way, you can also adjust those mirrors like this, how you want to, you know, like up and down and so on. So that's possible actually. I have not, and this is like the same way you would do like on the other side, remote for the co-driver side. But yeah, haven't had the best experience with those here, driving at night and driving at, you know, glaring sun, and also like in a position where it is. It's actually quite low down, and then you're not looking forward while looking here. So, and then this cover here you can raise up, armrest and some cubby hole underneath. And to the rear compartment now, the inside of the doors, by the way, in the back is pretty much hard pack. Pretty much. Not the hardest one, but pretty hard. Let's leave it that way. So let's get inside. And again, well, it's really nice to have this blue interior color. And legroom is the same also as in the normal e-tron. And, you know, that's definitely enough for tall adults. And headroom, well, it is actually just about 2 centimeters or a little bit less than in 1 inch, less than in the normal e-tron. It raises to the back part a little bit, so you're okay. Even with me, 1m86 or 6'1", still have some headroom, so I think you can live with that. It's really more that you lose trunk height in a very back area. So here, yeah, I mean, it's actually quite comfortable, quite decent in here, especially on the outer seats. And then here you have some cup holders. They are also adaptive for this part. You can also use this one here as a ski hatch. You can of course flip the seats totally, isofix on the outside seats each. There is an optional AC unit here, 4-zone AC unit for the rear, and also with rear seat heating. And 2 more USB-A supplies underneath that, hard to see at the moment. And well, there's not a big middle tunnel, so you can also sit here in the middle or go crouch through a little bit better, but the middle part is a little bit stiffer, and then it gets close with the headroom. So yeah, rather for 2 adults at the outside parts each from the seat. But the compromise you have to go for having this, more central design on the exterior, if you prefer that to the normal e-tron. Still think quite okay if you look here at the rear compartment. And now to our conclusion for today with the Audi e-tron Sportback. So the Audi EV with the high range, the first one, now as the SUV coupe shape. Do you like it? Please tell us in the comments. Of course, both cars, are not too different. It's really more about this design. The compromise you have to take for that, a little bit less headroom, that's okay. A little bit less height in the trunk, that's probably the biggest thing. I personally have to say, I really like the normal e-tron better from design. Not sure, but that's, I think, just matter of preference. I really like this color exterior-interior mashup, that's interesting. Also looking forward for a first test of those new digital matrix headlamps, if they make any difference. Yeah, and of course, maybe like another range long-term test, how it really plays out, because in the first test with the e-tron, the supposed electric range was a little bit less than, the official figure was actually. Driving-wise, I can already tell you that from the normal e-tron was really fantastic. The car is not small, but it feels very agile due to this electric all-wheel drive with the rear-wheel bias. You have, of course, the great boost acceleration from the get-go due to the electric power. So driving-wise, this car is really a lot fun and feels smaller than it actually is. And with a little sportier setup they put here on the Sportback, they even want to stress that. Of course, we'll find out very soon when we're able to drive this car. Yeah, the animal skin policy is not really up to date here with those Audi cars. There are newer ones coming up that will change that. Here they still have to, do some work, especially if you want to sell this one here as a sustainable vehicle. Yeah, some homework right there. But overall, very interesting to have, this one here now. You maybe remember we had this camouflage car at Geneva at the motor show, and people were asking, can I get it also in this paint? Yeah, actually not. Those camouflage paints sometimes look pretty cool, but you cannot get them for real. I think you have to go to, someone who wraps the car somewhat in this color then. Yeah. But you can also go back to this video and check it out and leave your comment right there. So I hope you enjoyed this insight here today. We try to bring you even more electric vehicle reviews step by step. Of course, follow also some other news here from the LA Motor Show.